This is a Moto-E. I got it refurbished online at actually Walmart.com for under $30. Uh, it was originally built in 2014. Here you can just see it. Very slim, low profile, all that.
Is that the Motorola logo?
Yep, that's Motorola logo. Because we already did the Motorola Manifesto, so I already kind of have a bias. This is pretty much the lowest cost of entry
And
for a Motorola smartphone.
and I will actually provide the link for the Motorola Manifesto in the description of this video.
Yeah, and I might post a thing about the link to get this thing too. You know, where you can still buy it online. It's pretty cool. I think it's probably for a $30 phone, one of your best values. So I'm going to just open it up. There it is. Basic phone. All that. Text messaging. Has a camera.
Do you happen to know the specs on the camera at all? Like
Pretty basic. I mean,
megapixels?
I would think less than 5 megapixels.
That's
It's
that's still fairly good.
it's pretty basic device. You could do your Facebook, you could do your Google. I actually put on here, it's in here as one of the apps, F-Droid, which is a free and open source repository of apps. So it's a non-Google Play app store, basically. It's all free and open source apps. So anything on there is free and open source software if it came from F-Droid. Another thing that I like is they have an FM radio. So we could, do that, listen to the tunes, do all that stuff. You got to have a headphone jack plugged in, but this is on a $30 thing. I mean, shit, you think about it, you can't. A lot of radios are $30, and you get a radio, and you get all this other stuff, a camera, um, an internet communication device. Like Steve Jobs in music, you can plug in. It has a slot for a 32 gigabyte micro SD card, so you get about 2-3 gigs of storage. I think after the OS is on here, and then you get a few more, and then you get like 32 more with that. So it is a nice one, and I think for the price and for that, I mean, if anybody really wants a smartphone or just wants, I mean, to me, this is even cheaper than like an iPod Touch, and this is better than an iPod Touch. I mean, it's designed to run on the track phone network, but I haven't activated the service or anything like that. I'm just kind of using it as a basic iPod Touch thing kind of at the moment. But that's that phone. This is one that I've actually used as an interim phone before. It's another $30 one. This is the LTE. There you can see the message. You see the Amber Alert?
Yep.
Okay. So that was an Amber Alert from Royal, Iowa. Amber Alert. And there's the license and a 2003 maroon Cadillac CTS 4-door. And it's kind of interesting. That's one of the things I wanted to highlight because I haven't used this phone in a while. And the FCC mandates that any device get alerts, whether they're weather or, missing children. And like half the missing children one are like domestic disputes that go wrong. And then, it's Billy Bob with his 94 Pontiac.
And it's in a lot of cases it's not even technically a kidnapping. It's that one of the parents, it's one of the parents took it and the other parent doesn't like it.
Yeah.
And so it's but then they can always make the claim that the child's safety is at risk and all of that. And oftentimes it's nowhere near you, and it's probably the person's probably headed the other way.
Where the hell's Royal, Iowa?
I don't even know.
That's where this is from.
And yeah, I guess we are kind of shitting all over the Amber Alert system, but
yeah, I mean, it's not. I didn't have anything to do with catching this guy, or we don't even know where this town's at that we got alerted to. But
I have mixed feelings about it because on one hand, yeah, it can maybe prevent one or two tragedies. On the other hand, it's kind of weird that everybody's required to receive like this message. It just feels kind of wrong to me, a little too collectivist.
well, it's all in cable boxes get hit with these things too.
Yeah.
Pretty much any mass media device would, but the phone I think is the most pronounced option of that.
Yeah, because mine was like I was taking a nap and mine was like going off and like waking me up. And it's funny. I have an LG that's on the iWireless network, and I think this is maybe only the second time I've gotten one of these alerts. I don't I typically don't get these, and I'm actually kind of happy about that I don't get the weather alerts and the other, all of these alerts that I don't necessarily really need, and I don't need my pants to start beeping, like,
Your pants to blow up.
yeah, I mean, I can look out the window and see that there's a storm coming, so I don't really necessarily need this collectivist option of like my pants blowing up, the phone blowing up in my pocket when I'm trying to have a conversation with somebody or whatever.
Well, it's like Big Brother for your alarms and stuff. So this is one that I use. This has a variation of Android. It still runs Android, but it's called something ZTE. I got it at Best Buy when they actually sold it for $30, which I think was one of the better values that they had, because it's just this cool little phone, and I used it as an interim phone at one point, but I haven't really used it for much. I use it as a MP3 player for my phone or for when I work out sometimes.
Yep, and I use my old phone as an MP3 player as well. Um, I think a lot of people do that, I guess, but I have a Samsung that's actually newer than the phone I use now, but I didn't really like it as a phone, and then the screen got cracked, and so that was one less reason to use it as a phone. And so I ended up, and the screen works and everything. I put some tape over it and everything. It still works, but I kind of decided to go ahead and use this as my phone and use the Samsung as my MP3 player.
Yours is as shattered as this, right?
No, it's not that bad.
That's my Moto X, my first smartphone that was a Motorola. The most I ever spent on a smartphone.
See, this one actually has shards coming out of it.
Teaches you a lesson about why you shouldn't invest a lot of money in your phones, kids, and also get an outer box if you got a nice phone.
Yeah, even though I've heard that they are coming up with like basically shatterproof glass or shatterproof plastic that they're starting to make phones out of now.
Yeah, this had Gorilla Glass in it.
Yeah,
which is supposed to be like
supposed to be strong,
glass.
But it is still glass, whereas like it's not like a polymer. Like I think that a lot of the ones they're making now, they're not technically glass. They're like a really flexible plastic.
Huh.
But I guess I don't know for sure about that. But I watched it, and it was the MythBusters. Like they were watching it. They did a commercial for this technology company that was that was introducing like some new kind of glass that they were going to start making devices out of. You could probably find that on YouTube pretty easily to anyone who's interested in seeing that. It's not particularly entertaining, but it does have the MythBusters in it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that covers everything, or
I think we should be good with that. Amber Alerts and Motos and cheap $30 phones.
cool.